In the year 2145, Earth's surface was dead. Silent deserts of ash and rust stretched as far as the eye could see. The sun, a distant, faint ember in the perpetual twilight sky, humanity's last stand. No, not the sky. Below it, 50 meters below, nestled in the belly of the dead planet, was home. Humanity had fled to these vast colonies when the sun began its slow murder. When the atmosphere turned toxic and the oceans boiled, they built these vaults deep under the earth, where geothermal energy still cooked the planet's core. Here, sheltered and safe, humanity lived and reproduced and waited for the day they might return to the surface. But that day was centuries away. Or so everyone thought. For over a century since the Exodus, contact with the surface was lost until today. The year is 2256, and Dr. Lena Ara, a comms engineer in Vault 12, stared at a console. A repeating pulse echoed through the static. 3 short beeps, 2 long, 1 rising tone. It wasn't natural. Signals from the surface, she whispered. It was picked up by one of their listening posts, an array of old satellites still orbiting the dead planet. Someone or something was transmitting from the surface. Lena felt a hand on her shoulder and jumped. She turned to see Dr. James Holden, Vault 12's leader. His face was creased with worry. "What is it?" he asked. "I think someone's out there," she said. "There's a signal coming from the surface, a transmission." James frowned, his eyes narrowing to slits. For a moment, all Lena saw was the ghost of the man who declawed his way up from the dead planet in one of the first surface missions after the Exodus. He'd returned with stories of ash and dust storms, of a dead, silent world devoid of life. Since then, he'd spent every waking moment planning humanity's return. And now Lena was telling him that something was up there. Before he could speak, the comm crackled again. This time, images flickered into view. The cameras were mounted on a rover, a vehicle designed to withstand the worst of the surface, a vehicle that hadn't moved in nearly a century. The transmission was coming from inside it. As it moved, the camera revealed a metallic tower half buried in the dust, blinking, alive. Lena felt a chill crawl up her spine. She remembered the stories people told of the old surface world, of the towers humanity built to survive. Each one had been equipped with AI, artificial intelligence, to monitor the sun's slow death and search for solutions. Some had even been equipped with rovers to explore the wasteland beyond. But this was the first sign of life anyone had seen in almost a century. The rover finally reached the base of the tower, and the camera panned down to reveal a plaque half buried in the dust. Lena leaned closer and her breath hitched. "To those who come after, we were here. We hoped it wasn't alien. It was human. A message from the last surface generation." She turned to James, his face ashen. Lena could only shake her head. There were others out there. Somehow they had survived. But how and why hadn't they contacted them before? Before what was out there that they hadn't wanted humanity to know? As if to answer her question, the screen flickered and a new image came into view. The interior of the tower, a single room with walls lined with equipment, a desk and a chair. And on the desk, an open communication console with a recorded message. "If anyone receives this transmission, please respond. We have vital information regarding the sun's death and the possibility of terraforming the planet. We are low on power and unable to broadcast for long. If you receive this message, please send help. We await your arrival." The message ended abruptly. Lena felt tears pricking at her eyes. They hadn't vanished. They waited, and now the buried past was calling back. Humanity's future, whatever was left of it, lay out there in the dead wasteland. Lena knew that as soon as the message reached the other vaults, the arguments would begin. Should they risk it all and return to the surface, or continue on in their comfortable, safe haven? But for Lena, the decision was already made. She had received a call, and she wouldn't hang up without an answer. She looked up at the sky, a faint ember in the twilight. "It's time we went home," she whispered.